We are in the last few weeks of summer, and so I am trying to get as much out of the garden and the cut flowers as I possibly can. And now that the kids are back in school, as soon as I get back home from getting everybody where they need to go, I like to get outside and enjoy the calm and quiet of the garden. It's so beautiful in the morning with the sun and the birds singing, and it's just a wonderful way to start the day. And I'm working really hard today, and I've been working hard over the last few weeks to get into a good routine and ritual and share with you all some of the things that I like to do to keep my home organized, tidy, clean, especially this time of year. I think it's so important with busy schedules and everybody going back to school that you have a calm home and a calm atmosphere for everyone to return to. And so we're going to get started on that today in the home. So come along with me and we will walk you all through some wonderful tips that hopefully you can implement in your own homes to create that peaceful and cozy environment for your family. I always like to go out and cut my flowers in the morning or in the evening and create a bouquet to display in the kitchen. There's just something about having those beautiful colors vibrant in the kitchen that creates a welcoming and inviting space, not only for me because I spend so much time in the kitchen cooking and preparing meals, but also for my family. And I think when the kids come in and when Dave comes in from work, that there's just no other way to want to be welcomed home than to have kind of a clean, orderly, put together space and environment. And it's a lot easier for me to get that done now and have that accomplished for my family whenever I'm home and I have the time and the energy to pour into it. And so I feel like that this is a transition for me. This is the first time that all of my children have been in school, but it's also kind of a learning experience for me to see how I can plan my day and get the most accomplished and feel like that I have used my time wisely, which is very important to me. So I'm just going to share with you all some of the things. I think that it's really important to remind yourself that depending on this season of life you're living in, that give yourself grace. Whenever I was a very early mom with very little children, my home was not going to be spotlessly clean all of the time. And so if you're in that season, please give yourself grace. Or if you are, in a season of sickness or whatever, just know that I'm thinking of you and praying for you. And I hope that, God will be there with you and give you comfort. But I also understand that because I am capable and I do like to be up moving around and staying busy and active within my home, that I am able to get these things done. And so I want to use my time wisely and have them accomplished. So I do like to have home cooked meals made. I do like to have a clean and orderly home. And it's important to me in my own mental health and my own, I like to have a cozy, clean, and inviting space for my own self to just be able to enjoy, but also for me to be able to be present with my family whenever they do return home so that I can be engaging and active with them. The first area that I like to start in is my kitchen because I do get the kids up and I feed them breakfast at home, so I typically make them breakfast every morning. So I usually have dishes in the sink, and so I need to come back home after I get them to school and get those washed and then dried and put away. And so what I've been doing lately, and I've really been trying, well, first of all, let me just preface this by saying that sometimes there are definitely seasons in life where things just get let go and everything builds up. And so I had to do a full reset of my home, and honestly, I do that probably once a month. If I notice that some things have gone undone or I've slacked in some areas, because I'm human and that happens, I like to do just kind of a full reset. It makes me feel so good to get that done. And sometimes I'll do that at night while everyone's asleep if they're home where the kids have been in school. I've had a little bit of time to work on that stuff during the day. But a full reset of my home is like a deep cleaning that I'll do, and then all of the things that I can do every single day are just little things that keep my home clean and tidy, and they're like small tasks that they don't take a ton of time, but over the period, if you continue to do them every single day, they just help you stay on top of keeping your home clean and tidy. And so I have not always been great at this. I struggled with this for a while, and I feel like lately I have learned that washing my dishes by hand and then drying them and putting them away kind of just as I go just makes my life so much easier. There isn't a bunch of dishes piling up in the sink or in the dishwasher. I've not even really been using my dishwasher much lately. I've just been trying to keep my dishes washed and staying on top of them. I do stay home a lot. And so being home, I think you have to be home in order to get these things done. I don't do a lot of running around. There are certain days whenever I will go do errands and run errands, but I don't go out every single day. So I spend a lot of my time at home, but I'm a homemaker and I enjoy that. I get joy from being at home, and so I'm okay with that. But doing my dishes after I've prepared breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc., washing them, drying them, putting them away, that just helps me stay on top of those things so they're not just piling up. And it's the same way with laundry. I've noticed that if I will do a small load of laundry every single day, that it just takes so much of the burden of laundry off of me because I'm not doing everything at once. I have a family of 5. We have a small load of laundry every single day. So if I go 4 or 5 days without doing laundry, that is quite a bit of laundry all at once for me to have to work on, and that can be very overwhelming. And so I just prefer to try to do a small load every single day. I did a full YouTube video on some laundry tips. If you all are interested in that, I'll link that below. And I also did, in that video, I show you how to make your own homemade laundry detergent. So if that is something that you are looking for, I will link that blog post that has the recipe to the homemade laundry detergent as well as the YouTube video. That way you all can go and make that. It is very cost effective, and it lasts for a long time. Like I said, we have a family of 5, so it just takes a couple of tablespoons of that in your laundry, and then you just add it in. So I do not know if this works for a front loader. I have a top loader, so I'm not sure. You might want to check into that, but I really love this homemade laundry detergent, and you can use whatever essential oils that you prefer to add a nice clean smell. Preferably, now that I've gotten kind of used to not having a lot of fragrances in our laundry detergent, I just prefer no fragrance at all. So I really like just to have nothing, but I know a lot of people like to add a little bit of essential oil for a fragrance. So like I said, I get my dishes taken care of and I get my kitchen kind of picked up and put back together, and then I like to move on to my laundry. And so usually what I do is, as soon as I wake up, if I have a full load of laundry ready to wash, I'll go ahead and put that into the washing machine, and then by the time I get back home and have my dishes done, it's usually time for me to either switch it over into the dryer, or if I've done it the night before, it's already dry if I switch it over in the morning. And sometimes, depending on the weather, I'll hang my clothes to dry. It really just depends if I'm in the mood to do that or not, but it's good to hang your clothes out on the line because it does help sanitize your clothes. But I had my clothes in the dryer today, and I like to just go ahead and get those sorted, folded, and put away just the same as the dishes. Now that I do have more control over what's going on, this is just something that I like to get done, and it's a task for me that, just like with the dishes, if I just get this checked off my list daily, it doesn't pile up and add up too much overwhelm on me, and helps keep my home clean and orderly, and it's just less clutter sitting around. And like I've said in my previous video that I will link below, I keep one laundry basket at the foot of my bed, and so everybody's clothes go into that basket, and as soon as it's full, I just pop it into the washing machine. And that has really helped me tremendously to try and stay on top of keeping my home clean and orderly. and creating that cozy and peaceful space that I want for my family. I know this is a really odd thing to say, and I don't know if everyone feels the same way, but I feel like that I cannot go into a room and bring clean laundry into a room if the bed is not made. It's just one of those things that if I'm doing laundry, my beds have to be made first and the room has to be cleaned first before I'll even be okay with putting the laundry away. Maybe I'm OCD. I don't know. I'm not making fun of anybody that has their quirks about the way that they do things in their home. That's just one of my quirks. You guys let me know what your all's quirks are below, because this is just something that I'm really particular about. Especially in the kids' rooms, if I go in there and I have a basket of clean clothes to put away and their room is like not picked up and their bed's not made, I have to make their bed and then pick up their room and kind of organize it before I'm okay with actually putting their laundry away. But anyway, I do also make the beds first thing in the morning. So as soon as I get out of my bed in the morning, I try to get it made even before I take the kids to school. If I have time before I take them to school, I'll go ahead and get their beds made. Right now, I have been told I'm not allowed to touch the boys' room because they have a massive fort in there, and I'm not allowed to take it down, so I can't make their bed, which obviously if I have any laundry, it bothers me, but I'm not going to be mean and destroy their fort, so I'm going to leave that. But I did go ahead and get her bed made, and that way her room is all picked up and nice and neat. And that's something else, like I do like to have my kids do things for themselves, clean their rooms, make their beds, and I'm not going to go in and be like, oh, that's not right or what have you, because I think it's really important for their own self-esteem and self-confidence to feel like that when they've done something, they've done a good job, even if it isn't to my standard, which obviously it's not going to be. Me being an adult, they're not going to make the bed the same way that I make their bed, but they're putting the effort in to do that, and so I want to applaud their effort, and not the level that they do it at. So anyway, I do have them like pick their rooms up, clean their rooms up and things like that, but I still go in and do a thorough cleaning. I sweep, I mop, I dust, I pick things up and clean and organize and such. So obviously they're not to the place that they're old enough to get those things done. I still take care of those tasks, but I do have them pick up after themselves and clean their toys up and put things away. And the boys still enjoy bringing some of their stuff into the living room, and I don't mind for them to do that at all. They've done that since they were really little with all of their Hot Wheels, and they'll kind of put those everywhere, but I'm fine with that as long as they pick them up. That way I can dust and vacuum and things like that. So they're good about that. We just have a really big black tote and we throw them all in there, and then most of the time they just stay in the living room so they can get them out and play with them and things like that. But they do have responsibilities that they take care of, and they also take care of a lot of the farm chores, but we obviously still help them with those things. But I do think it's important for them to have some tasks that they're responsible for. But I do like, is just as far as keeping my home clean and orderly, they do need help, and I do like for them to come home to a picked up room with a bed made and things like that, and then they can kind of get their little stuff out and play, and then before bed they can clean up, and then, so that's another thing about them coming home to just a peaceful environment. I like to have things picked up, and when they get home from school, we have hooks over in our entryway. I go ahead and get all of their papers out and sort through those. If I need to throw stuff away, I throw it away. If I need to put it in a folder, if it's something I need to fill out, I'll fill it out, put it back in their folder and send it back with them. Or I have a folder that I'll keep like special things that they bring home from school, and I'll put it in that throughout the year, and at the end of the year I'll kind of file that away with that school year's things. And then like when they come in and they kick their shoes off on the floor like they do, I usually always have them go back and get their shoes and put them by the door and things like that. But I also like to have their snack ready, so if I've made cookies or banana bread or something like that they can kind of snack on when they get home from school, because they're usually starving, and so I like to have something already made for them. Like I said before, once I have done a really good thorough deep cleaning of my home, which I did a few days ago, then I am able to just go through and kind of do a quick clean of things. And one of the things I like to do every couple, 2-3 days is go around and just kind of wipe down things with my multi-purpose cleaner. I just take a multi-purpose cleaner all through the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, and just kind of wipe down the surfaces of things just to keep them clean. I'm not really doing a deep cleaning. I'm not sanitizing. I'm just kind of dusting and cleaning, doing a light cleaning of the surfaces just to help keep my home clean and smelling nice. I love the way that this cleaner smells, and I just like to take it over things and just kind of freshen up the home. It's just something that I personally like to do, and I think that it does help keep everything smelling nice and looking nice. And whenever you do go to deep clean, it's just not as much work as it would be if you just haven't touched anything in months or weeks. When I do actually deep clean my home, I use a lot of vinegar and baking soda and Dawn to make my own cleaners. So I don't like to buy a ton of cleaners. Here and there I will get some Clorox wipes or some Windex wipes, and just to do a really quick clean with those. That way I have those kind of on hand if I need to just go through really quick and touch things up. But for the most part, I just mix vinegar and water together in a spray bottle and just go through and clean with that. I have tried to kind of get away from buying anything from the store other than that multi-purpose cleaner that I bought, which is all natural and it's non-toxic, versus like I don't like to have to use a lot of bleach or Clorox, that stuff like that. I try to avoid that as much as I can, and just stick with basic vinegar, baking soda, and Dawn. That's just my personal preference. And so I do have a lot of other recipes that I will try to get a good blog post on, making some good all natural cleaners. For my windows, I just use rubbing alcohol. If I have some grime that doesn't want to get off, I will mix a little Dawn and alcohol with a good microfiber rag and really like wash it well if I'm having trouble getting something off. But for the most part, I just take a paper towel and some alcohol and go through and wipe my windows. I also like to go ahead and take my paper towel with alcohol and just rub down my appliances. Where I cook so much, my stove is just always got grease or grime on it, and so I feel like I have to do that pretty much every single day. And then also I just like to keep my refrigerator handles clean, and the handles and then of course that's got fingerprints and gets smudges all over it, where the kids are in and out of the fridge all the time. And so that is something that I do every day, is just wipe down my kitchen appliances to keep them looking nice and clean, and also just to keep them sanitized and all of that. We don't want germs spreading, especially this time of year. And so I just like to get that taken care of. And I also will wipe the top of my fridge if I feel like it's getting dusty. And I also like to do my floors. And so I don't mop, but about once or twice a week I will mop the floor. And I don't have like a Swiffer or any kind of wet mop that you can just do like a quick mop with. I use a traditional mop, and so I get the bucket, the water, all of that out and do that like once or twice a week. But I do like to sweep and vacuum. I have some entry rugs, and where we live on the farm, there's grass all the time. And so if I don't vacuum those rugs constantly, then it just gets tracked inside and gets all over the floor. So also we have 2 dogs, and they're both inside and outside dogs, and so they track lots of grass and stuff in. So I just have to keep on top of keeping those vacuumed and the floors swept. Otherwise it would just be a mess every day. So that is something that I have to do every day in my living room, and that's mainly in the entry areas, so my front door and my side door. But as far as my living room goes, now that the kids are older, I really try to get them to eat in the kitchen, and so I don't let them have a lot of snacks in the living room unless it's something that I know isn't going to make a huge mess. But if it's something that is going to crumble and crack, then they can eat it at the table, because I just don't have the energy anymore to try to clean up after that kind of mess. So it's just a lot easier if I have them come in the kitchen and eat those meals, or eat their meals, and then if they want to have a non-messy snack in the living room, that's fine. But I do go in there every few days. If I notice that it's starting to get a little dirty on the rug, I'll go and vacuum it. But as far as moving my couches and sweeping and vacuuming and mopping underneath of my couches, I do that once a week. And I know that might seem excessive, but like I said, we just have 2 dogs and we have little kids and grass and things, and just I have to do that pretty much every week, because otherwise there would be a lot of dust and buildup underneath of my couches, and I don't like that. So I like to have, like I said, a clean and orderly and calming environment for my home, just as much for my own mental health as it is for my family. And to me, staying on top of these tasks every single day, it might take you an hour to do all of these things, depending on the size of your home. Now, we don't have a very big home. Our home is about 1,300 square feet total, and so, or 12 to 1,300, I'm not exactly sure, but it's not huge. We have 2 small bathrooms, 1 living area, 3 small bedrooms. Our kitchen and dining is combined, and so we really don't have a lot to keep up with. And so for me, it takes me an hour to do all of these things pretty much every day, and I have an hour to spare to keep my home picked up and clean and organized. And so to me, it's worth that extra time every day just to spend, getting some of these tasks done. And cleaning is really good exercise. It's good activity. So I think it's something that is good to do. And also, like I said, it's just good for your mental health and for your family's sake to have a nice and clean, orderly home that is just a peaceful environment. Thank you all. I hope these tips were helpful for you and that you can implement them into your own homes. And like I said before, understand the season that you're living in. Not everyone has the time to be able to devote to doing this every day, but I'm thankful that I can be a homemaker and that I have this time, and that I'm choosing to be intentional with it, and trying to manage my time wisely as a homemaker and stay-at-home mom. So thank you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead.